What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We have a good bit to cover today, so let's jump straight into it. In our last drag racing video, we talked a little bit about wanting to do some tire conditioning, and we're going to get to that really soon, but we're going to go over something else first. You can see we got a new front body mount on the car. I have a new body in the works that is done, but it won't be running in this video. It'll mostly be a show body, and maybe once I get the car consistent, we'll start running it a little, but don't want to run it during testing. But I didn't like the narrowness of the body mounts here. And I also had this one, but it was a little flimsy and didn't get as far out as I wanted. A lot of the bodies, like the vet body and this new body, have a scoop down the middle, and the body post would end up coming up into that scoop. So I wanted it a little wider. I thought about doing a front splitter, but to make that work with different bodies, just wasn't the easiest thing. I know I could have bought something, but that's not me. I like making things, so I came up with this. First thing I did was 3D printed a template for carbon fiber. I wanted to cut out the carbon fiber and I wanted to try a new method, so 3D printed a template. I did a rough cut on the carbon fiber with the air saw, and that thing worked excellent. And then I glued the template to the carbon fiber. This next part I was a little scared about, not gonna lie, so I didn't have the camera on for it, but I used a router with a flush trim bit and let the bearing of the flush trim bit run on the template. That way I could cut the carbon fiber, and the cuts came out perfect. It came out really nice. My template also had holes in it already, so I could drill straight through those holes, didn't have to measure anything. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my countersink bit, so I had to use a drill bit to countersink the holes, which I don't like. It doesn't work that great, but it worked for today at least. Now on to the mounting portion. I ended up coming up with 2 3D printed mounts. I played around with a couple designs and settled on this one. I like this one the best. It's compact, should be more than strong enough, and this one was the better of the 2 prints. I found this one printed better. So there's 2 nuts that get pressed into place. That's what the actual carbon fiber piece screws to. The mount just bolts straight to the front of the chassis through the shock tower using the original 4 screws. The carbon fiber plate is added on, and then the body mounts go on, and it fits really nicely. It works exactly like I wanted. The new body fits really well, and I'm really loving it. It's a little hard for me not to show it yet, but it's coming. As well as I can now put holes in my other bodies for this mount. That way they'll all run the same mounts. I don't have to swap mounts to use different bodies. Yeah, I know I got more holes in the body, but if it's a testing body, I'm not that worried about it. So now on to tire conditioning. I got a bunch of comments in the last video about this. Different people telling me different things, what they use to condition tires. I had a couple people telling me about tire prep, and I don't want to do any prep. I don't want to have the tires wet or sticky because of a compound when I go out there. I don't want to have to apply that in between every pass. I'd rather have them conditioned where I can just clean, do a burnout on the carpet like I normally do, and make a pass. The first thing I noticed is the actual surface or the contact patch of these tires. And doing a little research of my own, I noticed something that I should probably be doing. So I want to try to give you a little example of this, something to visualize it. So I have one of my Proline Prime tires here. Longtime viewers of the channel know that this is what started out on my drag car. This is a 2.2 wheel. It's a Titus bead lock with a 2.2 truck tire, and I really like this look, but these tires were getting hard to find. These are really heavy compared to these, and now with these cars getting so fast, belted is really doing well down track. These aren't belted, and down track they had a whole lot of ballooning, but we can kind of see the difference in the rubber, and it might be a little hard to see on camera, but you can almost see how much smoother this tire is, and it actually grabbed my finger a bit as I'm running it across it, where this one kind of just slides across. It's a little rough. It doesn't have the same bite that this tire feels it had. I felt like I had a good bit of traction with these tires, but it was just down track didn't work that well. These aren't there, and these don't have many passes on them. So something I came across a lot to condition tires is to actually break them in. to sand them down first to get down past that smooth, slick rubber. So with the research I've done on this to figure out what I'm doing so far, I've noticed a lot of people have a mount that they mount the tire on, put it in a drill and spin it to be able to sand them. And I don't really want to buy one and have to wait for it to come in, and I like making things myself. So here's what I came up with. So this is a 1/4 boat. It has a shoulder on it. It was a longer boat. I cut the head off so that I can chuck it into my drill here. You can also see I machined the end down, but what I have is a 1/4 nut that threads on. And originally I was gonna use this to fit in the hex of the wheel, but it's a little loose, and actually I can't get it in all the way. You could see why I had to turn the end down, but I took an old aluminum hex I had. I don't even know where this is from, honestly. I don't remember what RC this was from, but I had this. I drilled it out and tapped it to 1/4 as well. So now this can thread on there, and I can use this nut as kind of like a jam nut to hold it in place. And then I machined down this end and tapped it for M4 so that I could fit a normal wheel nut on it. So now, drop that in there, slide our hex in place, take our wheel nut, throw it on there, tighten that down, and now we can chuck it in the drill, spin it, and sand these tires down. Before we start sanding, you can maybe see that I have some arrows here from the videos I've watched. It looks like you want to spin the tire in the direction that it'll actually be on the car and sand against it. I honestly don't really know why that is. I guess I could kind of think of a reason, but I don't know the specifics behind it. If you know, leave it down in the comments below. That could maybe help someone, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand these tires a little bit now to break them up, or break in, I guess. I saw a lot of people using 80 grit sandpaper, and being that this is my first time, that kind of makes me a little nervous. So I'm gonna use 120 instead of 80. This is just a small piece here. I'm gonna try it out. If that doesn't work, then we'll switch to 80, but I'm gonna start with this. Not even gonna try to lie to anyone. I'm a little nervous about this part, but had a bunch of recommendations for this, so we're gonna try it. You can see I have a Ziploc bag here, and I also have a spray bottle with some Simple Green in it. A lot of people told me about Simple Green, and I've used it in the past to clean tires, and it did not work at all. Not for me anyway, but I've been told to use it for conditioning, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna spray the tire down. I have a toothbrush here to just kind of work it into the tire a little bit, and we're gonna throw it in a Ziploc bag and let it sit for a while. Then we'll take them out, wipe them down, throw them back on the car, clean them, and make a pass. I guess we'll see what happens. While those tires are marinating in that bag, marinating is that the right thing to say? Let's go with that. While those tires are in there, I want to do one more thing right quick. In my last no prep video, I kind of mentioned how the car was leaving a little soft, and that's not a tuning thing. I actually have a lot of power going in the beginning of a hit. You might have noticed it in the drone footage, as well as maybe even heard it a little bit. But the slipper is definitely doing its job in the beginning of a pass. I've really liked tuning with the slipper. I found it helped me to get the car to launch better. But the problem is now I feel like it's launching too lazy. I think with the DRK, I can do enough tuning to get the car to launch where I want it, where I'm not blowing the tires off every pass. I think I'm gonna do a slipper eliminator on this car finally. Enough of you have asked for it and told me about it, and I've been hesitant, but I think I'm gonna finally do it. I didn't order one yet. I went to put in an order for one, but didn't. For now, we're just gonna tighten this slipper down. I'm gonna essentially lock it out without having a locker. Back in a familiar spot today. I came out here because I really just want to focus on the launches today. I'm not running out to 132 feet. Probably gonna go to like 10 to 20 feet max. I really just want to see how the car is going to launch, see if we can get some better launches with the tire conditioning and with the slipper tightened all the way. The tires feel really good. Like, this is what I expect a slick to feel like. Got some nice grip and the contact patch looks great. I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen when I get on that throttle. I'm gonna set this camera up in slow-mo so we can get some nice slow motion shots of the launch and see if we can get some nice clean launches. after those first couple hits, I think it's pretty safe to say that I got it turned up a good bit in the DRK. I'm gonna go in and turn the launch down a little bit in the DRK. I think I was launching at 50% actually. So I'm gonna turn it down a little bit and we're gonna try to make some more passes. This thing is getting out the hole quick though. I'm kind of excited. So before that last pass, you saw me, well, you might have seen me anyway if I decided I wanted to put myself in this video. You saw me adjust the wheelie bar a little bit. I found the car was launching to the right every single pass. And I mean, I can kind of tell that's not because I didn't have traction. I could tell something was driving the car that way. I adjusted the wheelie bar a little bit. And then I did something for myself that I wasn't actually gonna put in the video, but now I think I will. I turned the GoPro into slow-mo. I wanted to see exactly when the bar was hitting, what side of the bar was hitting first, if either of them, if the tires were spinning, anything like that. And then I literally laid down one of the best passes this car has ever laid down. I didn't get out of it at 20 feet or 30 feet or even 40 feet because it was just smooth and straight. Unfortunately, I didn't have the performance analyzer on, so I don't know what the car actually ran, but it felt really good. It launched hard and stayed straight. I'm gonna turn the performance analyzer on now and see if we can repeat that and get another one like that and see what kind of G-forces we're pulling in the beginning of the pass. I'm not even gonna add the rest of the footage in. I just want you to watch really closely at this pass, watch the right tire, and you'll see why I was getting some sideways launches. So as you saw, the problem I was running into in the end there wasn't anything to do with my tires or traction or overpower. It was just a dusty surface that I really wasn't realizing. I was hitting that same patch of dust every single pass and the car was shooting right. Nonetheless, conditioning the tires really worked. I mean, they're dirty right now. You can see they're dirty, but I'm not gonna lie. It was hooking really well early on. And I only had these tires soaking in Simple Green for probably about 3 hours. And I think my plan from now on is gonna be to clean the tires up and soak them in Simple Green in the morning on the day that I wanna run. And then before I go out, I can just clean them off like I did today and go make some hits. All this time, conditioning tires is just something I was missing. It's something new I'm learning with racing and it looks like it's helping. My next issue is though, I'm still feeling like the car is sputtering a little bit launching. I have the grip to launch hard, but as you saw in a lot of those slow-mo shots, it's not even hitting the wheelie bar. This car should definitely be hitting the wheelie bar. I'm not sure why it's not. So maybe anyone with a DRK can point me in the right direction towards that in the comments down below. You probably notice the right rear tire is off of the car, and that's because I took the slipper out. At the time of filming this video, I'm working on something with the slipper, and you'll see that really soon. So make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Like I said, we're going with a slipper eliminator, but I found out it wasn't as easy as just purchasing one. So anyway, I know this was a little bit of a longer video today, but I hope you enjoyed it. This is the kind of progress I've been wanting to see with the drag car. I know all the time I talk about progress, but it's really looking good this time. I'm liking what conditioning these tires is doing for traction. Hopefully we can get a little bit harder launches and we'll be moving in the right direction. So make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below, let me know what you think, and like I said, I want to know if anyone has a DRK, what you're doing to get the car to launch harder. My specific tuning files, I'm trying to learn how to work Patreon. I do have a Patreon, the link is in the description below. My specific tuning files will be available for any of my patrons if anyone wants to check that out. But as always, thanks again for watching. Peace.